So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our Trading Every Player rebuild series, and today it's going to be the Orlando Magic. Orlando is led by their star duo of Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Now, unfortunately for the Magic, both of those players are currently out to injury. Now, here in 2K, in this world that we are living in, we are not going to get to use either of those players or anybody else that is on the Magic, because today we will be trading away the entire roster before year one kicks off. Of course, by the end of year three, goal is to win a championship. Nobody on this Magic team is welcome back at any point throughout this rebuild. And yeah, this is a really solid young core that they have locked in place. Feels like they're maybe a little bit ahead of schedule, but it sucks. I want to use Paolo, I want to use Franz, and hopefully today we're going to get some good returns for them. And finally, you guys know the drill. As always, let me hear those rebuild ideas that you guys have down below in the comment section. Open to any sort of challenges, series ideas, one-off videos, anything you guys are really desperately wanting to see me do. Let me know down below in the comment section. Been thoroughly enjoying this series along with the Curry era rebuilds, and excited for the Magic today. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner. Of course, it sucks having to deal both of those young stars away. The only thing that is going to be something to keep in mind as we start moving, especially, you know, Paolo and Franz and even Jalen Suggs, is that they're still on their rookie scale contracts. Of course, Franz does have the extension. It's just not in place yet. It would be next year. So I'll look, just curious, how many offers for Paolo are there? Because if there's a reasonable amount, like, okay, that's fine. I can deal with that. But if there were like 6 offers, I'd probably try to pair him up with a larger contract. But Paolo Banchero, 29 offers, some of which will probably include another player. We're going to close the eyes. We're going to randomly scroll through these. And of course, we're going to have no say in which one of these deals we have to actually end up accepting. So we'll stop right about now. And it is going to be, oh, gross. No disrespect to Gordon or Strother, but there's just no way that Paolo and Cole Anthony... Yeah, that sucks. I mean, there are certainly some worse ones in here, it looks like, but... Oh, man. Come on, 2K. Give me a little love. Alright. There are definitely some worse deals that we could have honestly ended up with, but there are definitely some better ones out there that I would have preferred. But Aaron Gordon, Julian Strother, I guess Aaron Gordon, welcome back to Orlando, if you will. Of course, spent the beginning of his career there. Now, Franz Wagner is going to be interesting. How many offers do we have for Franz? It is going to be... anytime today. All right, 25 is enough. Again, similar situation. If there were not nearly this many trade offers, we likely would have paired him up with a larger salary. But we're good for now with 25. Stop. And it is going to be Chris Middleton and Taurean Prince from the Milwaukee Bucks for Wagner and Jonathan Isaac. Again, not my favorite trade in the world. And I guess welcome to the team, Chris Middleton. Yeah, I mean, we lost both those trades. There's literally zero doubt in my mind about that. All right, Jalen Suggs. We're going to do him and KCP together. As we make our way kind of lower into the roster, we tend to start doubling up just for the speed of this video, if you will. So 24 different trade offers for these two right here. What we're going to do is scroll, and we're going to stop right now, but we're actually going to go one to the left as the eyes remain closed. And Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura from the Lakers, or it would have been Johnson and Schroeder from the Nets. Yeah, I mean, we're getting some nice role complementary pieces, I would say. Certainly not a star or anything like that. Goga Bitadze has been one of the better surprises for this Magic team this season. He's been absolutely fantastic. Going to deal away 2 of their centers here with him and Mo Wagner. But, yeah, Goga's been a very, very pleasant surprise from that Orlando team that has been just decimated by injuries. So, stop. And it is going to be Jordan Clarkson, Drew Eubanks here from the Utah Jazz. Again, we haven't had any like star players in return in this video so far, and I guess we've kind of probably missed out on that opportunity considering Aaron Gordon is now our highest overall, but it is what it is. Wendell Carter Jr., him and Anthony Black are going to be the next 2 players that we deal away here. 11 trade offers for the 2 of them. Again, that's not the end of the world. It is certainly enough for a 2-player deal. Stop. It is going to be... Oh. Shit. Well, here's the thing. I can't trade away Clarkson. So I have to go ahead, and it's a rule we have. After you trade for somebody, you can't trade them away at least until the first offseason. Keegan Murray, Devin Carter from the Sacramento Kings. Look, I would have loved to have had Bam. He clearly would have been the best player on this team, but unfortunately, we have the rules set in place for a reason. Of course, I did not actually include Jordan Clarkson in the trade. 2K just did that for me. So, yeah, I wish I could have had him. It's fun to get Bam. I get him from time to time, and he's certainly a fantastic player. All right, making our way down. Tristan Da Silva, him and Jet Howard will be next. After that, I don't think there's a lot more to go. We're actually going to do Gary Harris and Tristan Da Silva just from a money perspective. But, yeah, we're getting to the lower end of the roster, and that kind of makes sense, and we're going to be seeing what we're left with after this. So I think this should be one of our final deals, and it's going to come with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Max Strus and a first-round pick. Honestly, one of the better trades we've probably had so far. Look, I don't love Max Strus, but he's certainly better than some of the other options we've had. All right, I actually think that if we get through Howard, Houston, and Joseph, that should be it. I believe so. If there's enough offers here. Okay, there's only actually 2. All right, we'll just do Joseph by himself. So Howard and Houston are going to be up next. Of course, they're both 21 years old, so maybe the potential will intrigue somebody a bit. But let's just see what we're going to get here. Stop. And it is going to be Julian Champagnie, Charles Bassey from the San Antonio Spurs, and then finally is going to be Corey Joseph. So we have certainly turned this Orlando roster into something. Our work is definitely going to be cut out for us. Stop. And it's going to be Seth Curry here from the Charlotte Hornets. All right, let me just confirm. Let me just go through this entire list right now and fully make sure that everybody that started out this video as a member of the Orlando Magic is no longer one. Of course, we don't trade away the two-way players. So, yep, we are good. This is certainly something. Let me tell you that. Let's set the rotation. Okay, we have completed the 10-man lineup that we are going to be heading into season number 1 with. Now, it's obviously not nearly as good as the actual Orlando Magic currently have it, and we're probably not going to be a great team. Now, that being said, the Eastern Conference does suck. There is a possibility of anything taking place. So, Austin Reeves actually listed as a point guard. I am assuming that is because they've moved D'Lo to the bench unit, so he starts at the 1 for the Lakers, and he will be starting at the 1 here for us today. Now, Jordan Clarkson is going to be the 2. Certainly a viable option at the shooting guard spot. I think I would have preferred him to be at the shooting guard spot, maybe off the bench, but that is what it is. Middleton, who is tied for our highest overall, will be a starting 3. Of course, Gordon next to him at the 4. And then, yep, you see it correctly. Charles Bassey is going to be our starting center. Not my preferred starting center, but what we have to work with for now. Bench unit is pretty relatively deep. You'll see in a second why I am saying that. Hachimura going to be my 6th man at the backup small forward spot. You got Keegan Murray in here, Julian Strother, Drew Eubanks, and Devin Carter. So, unfortunately, Max Strus, Taurean Prince, Julian Champagnie, there's just no minutes for him right now. They're ultimately all listed as backup small forwards, and it is what it is, I guess. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 1. To put it nicely, we were not good. 32-50 is the final record, and it's disappointing. I wouldn't say it's necessarily unexpected, but it's the reality of what we have to deal with right now. So here's to hoping we get a little lucky in the draft lottery, my friends. It's a 25-point triple-double for Luka Doncic. He is your MVP. Jared McCain, Rookie of the Year. Russell Westbrook, Victor Wembanyama, Azar Thompson, Kawhi Leonard, actually Clutch Player of the Year. You just don't see that one very often. And then Jason Kidd with 61 wins, Coach of the Year there in Dallas. Okay, so standings time. We're not in the playoffs, even with how dreadful the East is. We are the 13 seed right here, and yeah, it's not great. So we're just going to hope the draft lottery is in our favor, where it usually is not. We had a pretty balanced offensive attack. It wasn't like anybody was vastly better in the points per game department than anybody else, but there's just no star here. And we knew that was always going to be an issue after trading away Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. So certainly going to have to be something we think about this offseason. We obviously do have some contracts that are very much movable, but we have a lot of questions and not too many answers at this point. So let's sim through the rest of the playoffs and just hope that it's over quick, it's painless, and it is going to be the Mavericks and the Heat in the finals. They're just rubbing it in at this point because we obviously could have had Bam Adebayo. Unfortunately, we have the rule set in place that after we trade away the entire team, we cannot make any other deals till the first offseason. But that first offseason is now finally here as Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks end up getting that championship. And it is time for what is hopefully going to be kind of a very pivotal moment in this video because, of course, we have a lot of moves to make and, a decent amount of assets. I wouldn't say we're, fully loaded, but let's start out with a big one here. That, of course, being our draft pick that is currently projected to be number 5 overall. And it is going to land at number 8. This game, I mean, when I tell you, I can't remember the last time I got, really lucky in a draft lottery. And when I say really lucky, I don't mean jumping up to number 1. I mean, staying at the fucking pick I'm projected to go to. I mean, this game just loves bending me over and not giving me any chance at actually competing. All right, Jamal Mosley, going to stay on as our head coach. I think he is certainly in the mix for the actual coach. He was my preseason pick for Coach of the Year, and he is going to stay on because I think he's done a fantastic job with the Magic. I think he's a fantastic head coach, and he's staying on for now. Good news is we have another pick from the Denver Nuggets. Going to be number 22, and then 6 and 26 in round 2 there from the Celtics, and then our own. Okay, we have some moves to make. We have some decisions that we have to obviously decide on, and I'll see you guys with whatever's next. It has been long enough since I've traded for Alperen Şengün that I feel comfortable doing it here in today's video. On top of the fact that we don't really have a true star right now, we also have a glaring hole at our center position because, no disrespect to Charles Bassey, he's certainly not going to be starting for me for multiple seasons. So, pulling off a blockbuster here with Houston, obviously sending out Aaron Gordon, our 2 first-round picks this year, and another first-round pick in 2028. And Şengün's 22. He's an 88 overall, obviously has the extension, and he's going to be the face of this team moving forward, at least as of now. Also getting Dillon Brooks back in this deal, which is certainly not a bad thing. He could be a tradable asset for us at some point in time. But I think that's a really good kind of blockbuster trade to kick off this offseason because Lord knows we needed the star power. All right, we're going to skip over the 2025 draft in its entirety. Middleton actually declines his player option. Maybe a bit of a surprise. Probably thinks he can get one more long-term deal. Murray and Strother will both definitely be brought back. And at this point, we're just going to kind of look to make sure we don't lose out too much because Chris Middleton's good. He's going to ask for a decent chunk of change, not necessarily unsurprising. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I have to obviously give it to him because if I lose him for nothing, that's actually the worst case scenario. I'll pay Charles Bassey as well. I didn't mean to throw a shot at him as we were just discussing our starting center spot, but realistically, him coming off the bench is a little bit better. All right, we are definitely not done making trades. Of course, bringing back Chris Middleton is super beneficial. Didn't have the greatest season of all time, but losing him would have absolutely sucked. So let's get into some more trades. Oh, shit. Wow, I could not believe the Sacramento Kings actually accepted that. Okay, well, our second blockbuster of the offseason has been pulled off. We end up not giving up a single draft pick, and we do land ourselves De'Aaron Fox. So a beautiful, very welcomed addition to this team. Obviously, our starting point guard spot wasn't necessarily the biggest gaping hole because we had Reeves starting there at the 1, but I'll likely just slide into the 2 guard spot now, maybe a little bit more of his natural fit anyways. So that might be it for major moves. I certainly do think we still need to address the power forward spot. That's not what I meant to do. I said power forward. I immediately went to the power forward because we obviously dealt away Aaron Gordon. So Keegan Murray could start. I'm not ruling that out as a possibility, but I'm also going to look for a few different other options as well. I like this trade with the Chicago Bulls for a couple reasons. Now, hear me out on my thought process. Rui Hachimura is definitely a better player than Patrick Williams. I'm taking him pretty much 10 times out of 10. But, couple things. Hachimura is an expiring contract. Will obviously be turning 28 this season. And while, though, that's not necessarily the end of the world, trading for a guy like Patrick Williams, who, again, maybe a little bit more defensive-oriented, and also 4 years younger, and locked up, has an extra 2 years on his contract, I think makes a lot of sense for this team given our current situation. So that deal right there maybe doesn't necessarily make us better on paper, but I think it's going to give us a little bit more flexibility as we head into next offseason. So Williams will just be behind Murray. I am going to start Keegan at the power forward spot. Last year coming off the bench for us, I think this is a good move, playing him next to Şengün. So we got Dillon Brooks obviously in the Şengün deal as well. He'll just back up Chris Middleton. It's going to be Strother and Reeves. And then we'll take a look at the backup point guard options, excuse me. How about a guy like Trey Jones here? Wow, I actually didn't think he'd be in free agency. But he is, and he is going to sign with us on a 2-year deal. And we have now finalized a rotation that I'm certainly much more comfortable with. So I'll see you guys at the start of year 2. I think we should all collectively just pretend last season didn't happen. It didn't exist. It was a throwaway season, and now we have reloaded a little bit, and everything is looking much better. Now, that being said, there's not, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's certainly some cause for concern, most notably some of the regression we're seeing out of Austin Reeves. He was an 83 overall last season, now down to an 81. The Middleton part of it, I kind of expected. That's not super crazy, him going down a few overalls just given his age, but yeah, I don't know what it is with this game and Austin Reeves, but they certainly do not like him and let him progress. It's weird. But he'll be paired up with Fox in the backcourt. Still got Middleton at the 3. Keegan Murray now in the starting lineup as our power forward. And obviously Şengün, the really big trade that kicked off our offseason as our starting center. Bench unit's also really damn good. Dillon Brooks going to be my 6th man here. You got Julian Strother developing nicely behind him. Patrick Williams, of course, the backup power forward. Charles Bassey, the backup center. And then Trey Jones, talk about regression, also went down a few overalls. Look, he had a pretty shitty season last year. There's no denying that, but he's 25 years old. To see him go down 2 overalls is pretty much just what 2K does at its finest, if I do say so myself. But this is the team. Again, there's no doubt in my mind we're better than we were just a season ago, and I fully expect to be in the playoffs and competing for the Eastern Conference. So see you guys at the end of year 2. Not going to lie to you, it wasn't great. It was definitely not great. I ended going over the rotation before we started simming the season by saying we're going to be hopefully competing for the East. And that hopefully obviously carried a lot of weight because we're not going to be competing for the East. We were 42-40, which unless we're, the Miami Heat, and it's just not going to happen. Luka Doncic, your MVP once again. Cooper Flagg is in Memphis. Somehow he's your Rookie of the Year. How the Grizzlies were bad enough to get the number 1 overall pick in this world is beyond me, but I wish I had their luck in the draft lottery. Men Thompson, your 6th man. Wembanyama, another depoy. Jarris Walker, most improved. Franz, just punch me in the fucking face. Why don't you? Good God. Jason Kidd, once again, Coach of the Year. Yeah, 42 wins. It's not fun. And we're in the play-in just because, again, the East is just fucking terrible. But my God, this is just... It's not great. It's certainly not. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the numbers on the season. Points per game department. Not sure what's going on here. I know we have a lot of guys that can score the basketball, but De'Aaron Fox, I need to be a game changer. You certainly have the talent to do so. Where are these kind of seasons? That's what I need. Didn't happen. Şengün, Reeves, Murray, Middleton. So we're going to obviously head into the playoffs, and we're going to compete. And I'm not saying the season's completely over, but we are likely going to have a lot of big decisions to make very, very shortly. Here's a look at the Cavaliers. They're obviously pretty talented. I'm actually not really sure how they're playing team. We lose that game, which means we are going to be fighting for the 8 seed here against the Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo, Miller, Noah, I cannot pronounce that last name. Bridges, Williams, Trey Mann, Naz Reid. Okay, we're in. Facing the Celtics. Probably not going to end well. Let's just be honest with each other here for a second. So here goes nothing. Actually do win game 1 at TD Garden. They take game 2. We go down 2-1, down 3-1, and they gentlemen sweep us out of our own building. Disappointing. All right, and is Luka in the Mavericks against Scotty Barnes and the Raptors? All right, the Raptors do anything to get that much better? No, they're just, they signed Chris Paul. Okay, Dallas goes back-to-back. Luka goes back-to-back, and it is hopefully time for some more big decisions. We thought we had a really productive offseason just a year ago, and of course, did not end up happening. Now, it says we're projected the 4th overall pick. I'm assuming there's probably some sort of protection on that or some sort of swap. I highly doubt we're getting one of the top picks this year. Unless I'm just completely missing it. Oh, no, we do. It's at number 7. I'm fucking blind. Okay, well, the 7th overall pick is certainly not nothing. I think at this point of the video, drafting somebody would probably not be the most beneficial use of this pick. Of course, I'm not just going to force the issue. If the right trade comes along, I'll do it. If not, we'll see you guys with whatever's next. This team needs a little shock to the system. I think we've been way too mid offensively for pretty much this entire video, and Chris Middleton is certainly not getting any better at this stage of his career. So I don't know if you want to call this an overpay. The 7th overall pick is certainly a big thing to include in a deal like this, but Pascal Siakam is clearly an upgrade with this team and a nice addition to us at the power forward spot. So we're making a deal here with the Indiana Pacers. We've obviously been missing that kind of star power forward, of course, since trading away Paolo, and hopefully that deal helps right there. Do we have any other picks in this draft? We do. We have the 20th overall pick in round 2. Okay. Let's head up to team player options right now. Of course, the small forward spot certainly going to be something we need to address. Strother going to come back. Reeves is going to be entering unrestricted free agency. We will qualify Keegan Murray, and at this point in the video, we've gotten to the point where we're certainly going to be getting, not that we haven't been so far, this has been a completely unrealistic rebuild, but you're going to probably not love some of these deals that I'm about to make right here. So, son of a bitch. Okay, this game knows how to push my buttons when I am annoyed. Let's pay Reeves a little bit more in case we want to match that up with a little bit of a bigger contract. Okay, welcome back, all of you. We are at the point right now where we are going to be continuing to look to make some upgrades, so I'll just see you guys with whatever's next. Okay, we pulled off a big deal with the Pelicans. Added a guy in Brandon Ingram who is clearly going to be a nice upgrade into this starting 5. Look, after moving on from Chris Middleton, of course, adding Pascal Siakam, glaring hole at that starting 3, and Brandon Ingram is certainly going to address some of the needs there. So, at this point, we're pretty low in the draft pick department. I certainly could look to still move on from Austin Reeves, but I just don't want to force the issue too much, if you know what I'm saying. So, we have a 10-man rotation that is certainly respectable right now. I think there is an argument to look at least a couple options for an Austin Reeves trade, but again, not going to completely go all out for something that might not be 100% necessary. So I'll either see you guys with a deal or at the start of your 3. If you guys have been watching my videos for long enough, you know that I'm a pretty big fan of Jaden Ivey, and ultimately he is an upgrade at this point in time over Austin Reeves, so we're going to be making a deal here with the Detroit Pistons and acquiring him. Now, we're also sending out Trey Jones in this deal, who, of course, was just not great for us last year, given his 10 minutes a game and his overall regression. So we are getting Bobby Clintman back in this deal as well. Probably not really going to be needed. Of course, our power forward spot is kind of all set. So I will look and see if there's any possible way to trade him for a backup point guard. Again, not a lot to work with in the draft pick department, but if there's somebody out here, I'll certainly look to take a flyer on him, if you will. If not, I'll just see who's in free agency. Again, the names probably aren't great. So, yeah, oh boy, this is this is tough. Yeah, not great. Chris Dunn, I feel like I could move him to the point guard spot. Maybe. I don't know. It's probably not going to work out great, but it's 10 minutes a night. Who cares? I'll see you guys at the start of the third and final season. Okay. On paper, this team's absolutely insane. Last season, we thought we were pretty good. I wouldn't say superstar team, but this season, it's a little bit different. We have not made it out of the first round of the playoffs yet, and this offseason, we obviously went all in hopes of winning a championship here in the third and final regular season. So, on paper, it's a death squad. There's really no weaknesses in this starting five with De'Aaron Fox, Jaden Ivey, Brandon Ingram, Pascal Siakam, and Alperen Şengün. Bench unit is still pretty damn elite, with Strother taking over six-man responsibilities. Got Keegan Murray here, Charles Bassey, Aaron Nesmith, and Chris Dunn. So, yeah, it's now or never. That's pretty obvious to everybody, but I think this is the team that can get it done, and hopefully it is. See you guys at the end of the final year. It is easily our best season yet here in Orlando, but I still don't really feel like everything came together. Now, 56-26 is the final record, and although that is a very strong season, it still feels like something's a little off. I mean, we're going to test that theory very shortly, but yeah, I'm not super thrilled right now is what I'm trying to say. Jokic is your MVP, Cameron Boozer. How do the Grizzlies keep getting these fucking draft picks? What the hell? Jaime Jaquez Jr. is sixth man, Wembanyama, Dylan Harper, Kyrie Irving, Taylor Jenkins. Okay. We are going to be in the playoffs. I am assuming we're the one seed. We won the East by one game, and wow, this Western Conference is not great. Okay, let's talk about the numbers real quick. Again, the offensive output throughout this video is it's really, really well balanced, and it feels like that's kind of been the case so far for 3 seasons. And you can sit here and say, well, you have so many guys that can just score at an elite level, and you're not wrong. I 1000% do, but I feel like every time I do one of these videos, it's somebody's clearly always the best, points per game scorer or rebounder. You know what I'm saying? It just feels like not quite the case today. All right, round 1. It is the 8-seeded Indiana Pacers, who are certainly looking a little different. We obviously traded them Chris Middleton. Keldon Johnson's going to be starting at their 4. Yeah, this team doesn't really scare me too much. I mean, Halliburton's, very hit or miss these days, but I think we are clearly a better team. Up 3-1 right now, and ladies and gentlemen, we have finally advanced in the playoffs. It is the Cleveland Cavaliers who are back here. Obviously, last year faced them in the play-in. We did not beat them, but they're talented, and no doubt about that. So definitely not an easy series. Split the first 2 at home, win Game 3 and Game 4 on the road, and we win the series in 5. Okay, and the 6-seeded New York Knicks are going to be our opponent here in the Eastern Conference Finals. They've added Jeremy Sohan. Looks like they no longer have Josh Hart with this team, but that Ben Simmons. Interesting. All right, East Finals. Let's see what happens. Quick 2-0 lead for us. Quick 3-0 lead for us. Okay, we sweep them. And we're going to be taking on Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans here. It's funny. It's like the two teams in real life right now that are absolutely just completely decimated by injuries facing each other here in the NBA Finals. All right, DeJounte Murray, Drake Powell, Herb Jones. Fucking love Herb Jones. Zion Williamson, James Wiseman, Yves Missi, Jordan Hawkins, Rudy Gobert. Okay. Again, I think we're better. Thought we've been better than a lot of these teams, and they do win Game 4, but probably going to be all she wrote. We end up winning in 5. Okay, what a weird video. Don't get me wrong, I thought we put together an awesome team, obviously, and I certainly enjoyed this one. It was weird. It just felt like we never really collectively kind of fit as a unit, and just looking at this team, it looks like there's a lot of guys that would fit together fine. So I don't know, man. I won a championship. That's all, of course, I was really looking to do, and it was fun, challenging, interesting, exciting. So let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. Of course, always open to anything and everything you guys want to see. So let me hear it all there in the comment section. So that's it for me. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.